Okay, hello everyone. I'm back here with one more episode of Why Alberta Pod. Today I have Ana Acacia with me. She is been living in Alberta for more than 17 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And she's gonna share some of her experiences, talk about her story, and you're gonna get to know her a little bit more. Thank you for joining us. Drop the like button, leave comments, and stay tuned. Welcome to Why Alberta Pod. So Why Alberta Pod, it's just about why people choose to live in Alberta, what was the circumstances. So talk a little bit about yourself.
Why Alberta?
Why Alberta?
Why Brazilians come to Alberta, right?
Right, yeah.
I didn't know that when I came. I came because of my husband. We come here for opportunity. This is definitely the land of opportunity. If you come with a right mindset, if you come ready to work hard.
Work hard, right?
You see the results.
Yeah.
It's not like back home that you work.
Yeah,
And it takes longer to achieve things. It takes longer to conquer things. Here, if you really come with the mindset of working, like me and my husband when we came with $1,000 in our pocket. We had family to stay,
Okay.
but we just had quit the ship life, which we didn't pay rent when we worked on the ship. We didn't pay for food if you don't want it to. So we saved the money. We got married in Brazil, and then we got here.
Okay.
As I was mentioning earlier, we went to Fredericton
Okay.
because that's where his family was at the time. And jobs, there was barely any jobs there. So his sister was here as a nurse, and she invited us to come over with open arms, very generous of her. And for 2 years, we grind.
Okay.
There was no, you can ask the other Brazilians that have been here for a while, like there was no time off, there was no day off.
Of course.
We start to work on the shopping mall here, which is not very big. They work at the Source at the time, and I work in a health store.
Okay.
And then from there, I got an opportunity to work in a jewelry store.
Okay.
And then from there, I got the opportunity to really do what I love to do, which is work with people and kids. So then I started to work at the hub. And I worked there for 5 years until I had my second kid. And then
That's it.
opened my own business.
Okay.
Did that for 7 years.
That's nice. So what made you travel a lot before coming to
I
Canada,
did,
right?
yeah.
So you're the ship life. When did you decide, because you came in like the immigration process was a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you decide, okay, I'm gonna go to Canada, why that decision?
Because if we went to Brazil, which is very tempting, back then I was in Rio. And my husband, don't you want to stay in Rio? I'm like, do you want to be a teacher teaching English and not making much money? I think we'll farther ahead if we come to Canada, which is not an easy decision by any means, by any immigrant, you guys, like to leave everything behind. We were young and foolish. If I could do different, I would probably plan a little bit more. But we came with passion. We came believing that we will get ahead here. And that's why we came. I was supposed to go to Grand Cayman
Okay.
and work at Cayman Islands and the jewelry stores because he already had the job. My job offer didn't came in time.
Okay. Okay.
And so we were waiting for that, never happened. And then we came here. The moment I came here, the job letter came, but then we were already here. So I think it was really meant to be here.
Yeah. I always, in my mind, it's like everybody has a mission.
Yes.
And the work that you do, it's
Thank
an
you.
amazing work.
Thank you.
I find it's amazing. Talk to me about a little bit about that. How do you choose like to do that work to give other people a chance? I think
the hub for me, one of those very rare places that you don't call work.
Yeah.
As you say, and you put beautifully, is a mission. The moment they were open a second location up in Timberley. Timberley was half of what it is now.
Okay.
Timberley and Fort McMurray, you guys, is a neighborhood that now it's so well developed. There was nothing there back in 2008. Now there's a lot of development compared with back then. So they opened a second location of the hub, and they invite me to do statistics. It's a nonprofit, it's a family resource center, so we receive a lot of new moms, new parents, grandparents, newcomers, and we make them feel like home. Okay, you can come here with your kid, you can play, they can learn, they can have music programs, art and sensory programs, all to entertain the kids and to provide to the parents a safe place, right? Because here in January, it's kind of cold, February, like 6 months of winter.
Yeah, the winter's ruthless, I think.
So they grab a coffee and
we have some tea.
Oh my, look at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll podcast more times here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa.
You're welcome.
Obrigada, amiga.
Thank you.
And so I was sitting on the front desk doing statistics, but I was really good welcoming people, I guess. And my executive director, she's like, "You're in the wrong place. Get out of that desk. Go run programs."
Nice.
And I had no clue. I had no background in early learning.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Like they give you lots of opportunity to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I found like my new job now, I have to learn everything. They gave me the opportunity to learn everything.
If they see that you have that
willingness
that we all Brazilians do.
Yeah.
And I think that she saw in me, and I think that to the crews, because they have so many different nationalities. You really have to learn human behavior and how to interact with people. And so I guess God was guiding me, okay, you're going to go on the ship, you're going to learn all those skills, and then eventually you're going to work in a family resource center. They're going to use those skills, and somebody's going to look at you and going to see, okay, she got those skills, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And so I got this opportunity, and I did that, and then I got pregnant of Nina, and then I opened my own business. So I run a day home, which is like a daycare in your own home, for 7 years, and I benefit tremendously because was the people that already knew my work from the family resource. I thought I would go crazy because I was always outdoors and working out and being out there in the public. I don't know if having my own business on my basement will benefit my mental health, but it benefit tremendously because I could raise my child until she was
there was a time
old
for
enough.
That, yeah.
So it was a time frame for that. And now I'm back there. So now, as a parent of 2 kids, one's 14, the other one just turned 10, I can help those parents. So I don't run the programs per se anymore. I don't do art and sensory anymore. So now I'm in the parenting education part of it.
Okay.
So I do a little bit with the kids, but more with the parents.
The parents. Okay. Yeah. We are all needing
some
advice.
We all. And after COVID, we see a big need for some guidance on, okay, how do I do this again? How do I interact with people and not feel awkward? I think.
And not go crazy.
We lost a big chunk. 2.5 years, 3 years almost. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Like, remember COVID? Like, what?
Yeah, I was looking at my job, like the 2 feet signs, and I was thinking about like we lost 2 years, right? it didn't. I don't know. I don't remember much of that. Like my child was really. She was born in the pandemic, so I kind of missed those 2 years. It was so fast, and so I don't know. It was a really dark time, and then I think like everybody's a little bit. I don't know, trying to live life after that.
After that.
So it's trying.
And the impact that I see with my clients in the mental health.
Yeah.
But thank goodness now we're talking more about mental health.
Yeah, it's not a taboo. It's still a taboo in some place, but it's not a, in general, not a taboo anymore, which is really great.
Yeah.
So since you came from Brazil, how many years? More than 17, right?
Yeah, if we do our math, we're going to 2025. I got here 2007, so I want to say
17,
18.
yeah, 18 years, yeah. So
It goes by in a blink, you guys.
It passes fast.
Yeah.
I'm almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
What is the most like difference? Like, what was the culture that you found? Okay, that is very different than mine. Like the food, it's not only the food, but if you see like, because we live with Africans, we live with Indians, Koreans, Chinese, like all of the world is in Canada, right? Mm-hmm. So which culture you said, okay, that's really different. That's like, that was a shock. Like for me, it was eating with the hands. I was in college and I have a friend, she was from Eritrea, I think, and she was eating rice with the hands, and for me it was shocking. I said okay, and then I did that at home with my kids. So sometimes I say, okay, let's eat like Eritreans do. Like, it was very shocking, but we kind of like wanted to learn a little bit how was like the shocking culture for you. Like,
so I wouldn't say shocking, but I married a Canadian.
Okay.
Canadians are very different. You go
that's
out
shocking.
There, that's shocking. What? You don't hold my hand? What? You don't show affection? You don't kiss everybody before you leave the party like Brazilians do? Like, our culture is very warm and very loud sometimes, and very
We're super loud.
in your face, and sometimes can be too much. Canadians, I don't know if because of the environment that they're in, the climate they're in, they are not as populated as we are. They are quiet, they're subdued, they're not out there in your face, right? So that was for me my first culture shock. Dealing with other cultures, because I have a gypsy in me, I find fascinated.
Okay, yeah, that's
It's
what I find
fascinating
too.
to me that my kid goes to school and she have all shades of color of people surrounding her. For me, coming from Brazil,
Oh yeah.
it's huge, and I'm so grateful that she will learn along with my son about diversity, about respect, about difference in color, religions, languages, opinion. Like, we can put that a price tag on that.
Right, yeah.
You're learning so much.
Yeah, I was shocked once because I was always worried about my son, because in Brazil we have so many racism and stuff that's going on, and I was.
It's still going on.
He's a little bit light skinned than me and than my husband, so we were worried about that, like if he's gonna feel like he's black, he's from a black family, and in his third grade, I think he said that he was in love. So I said, okay, he's in love, and I was worried because he was studying in a school with like lots of different kids, and then he showed like the girl that he was in love was a black girl with.
Mm-hmm.
He said that she took her jihad to fix it, and he fell in love. So it was so great.
I think
like,
he
it was
felt
so
that
good.
he belonged
Right?
more than he fell in love, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I think he felt like, okay, I belong here.
Yeah.
I don't. He didn't feel like the difference.
So when
Which
did you
was
hear
really
that,
good.
Mom? How
It was
was your
really
reaction?
good. Oh,
Your shoulders
I cried.
dropped.
I was so yeah. He has the feeling that, okay, we are a black family, mixed family, and it's different because we grew up in Brazil, and people say to you, oh, we are a diverse country, right? But that's not really true when you like go through racism and stuff. When we came to Canada, okay, that is diversity. That
I'm not
that
gonna
you
say
can see,
that
like,
there is no racism in here.
oh yeah, there is.
I don't think we can say that. I think we still have long ways to go. But I think because we are multicultural pot,
Yeah.
they have not much opportunity they have to learn how to deal very fast because, let's face it, Canada have very low amount of people that come from Canada.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, who runs the country? It is the immigration.
Yeah,
the immigrants.
we have,
And
like,
I know it's a very hot topic right now. I don't know if you want to go that way, but
No, it's okay. Like, we know that Canada is built by the immigrants, First Nation and the immigrants. So
yeah,
it's like, it's we as a Brazilians, I talk about racism, seeing the Brazilian side.
yeah.
Because even here, we're still suffering from racism from Brazilians. It's not from Canadians. And I found that Africans suffer more racism here. So if I see like people are more sensitive, I say that I'm Brazilian, they are a little bit more lighter on me. But still with Brazilians that are living here, some of them, not all of them, of course, they still feel a little different, even with Canadian, right? With First Nation and with white Canadian.
It's everywhere.
It's
I think
everywhere.
it's in the end can be a little bit of fear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Territorial. Get educated people. Get the opportunity to know about different cultures. Like, I'm gonna do a little ad here at the hub here in Fort Mac. Every month we do a multicultural potluck.
Oh, that's amazing.
And what it does is we open the doors, and last week was about Barbados.
Right? Oh.
So I find out that they call sugar cake is the same thing than cocada, which is a coconut sweet from Brazil. So we're different, but we are the same.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And we have like the chance to experience different things. That's
Yes.
what's
Our
amazing
kids don't need
about
to travel
America,
like we did. Like they have that exposition here.
Yeah.
So hopefully the future will be a little bit brighter in that terms of
let's hope.
racism.
Yeah. What you miss the most from home back
From home,
Yeah. You're from Rio as well, right?
the weather.
The weather, okay. That's fair.
And I play music all the time in my house. We're always singing. We're always cleaning with music like Brazilians do. But the people back home, I realized that a while ago. I also was pregnant and very hormonal, very emotional, but I had the opportunity to go to Cuba with my family. And Cubans are like that. They are loud, they love music, they're very passionate. And I was already living here for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And I went there in a catamaran party. And I literally started to cry. I don't know if it was because I was surrounded by the ocean again, or it was because I was reconnecting with that part of me. That when you're living in a country like Canada, where everybody's more quiet.
Quiet, yeah. Calmer.
Calmer.
Very on time.
Very subdued. Like, and you go back to the loudness, that right in your face, that music, that clapping. It's almost like you tunnel travel back to your roots, to your heritage. So it really impacted me in a way of like, whoa, I became very Canadian in 7 years, right? And that's a thing that a lot of immigrants, I think, I didn't know the process. I grieve for 2 years. Fort McMurray, guys, it's my community, it's my home now. But nobody comes here for the beauty of it. There is beauty of it.
Yeah, you find the beauty after, right?
After.
Yeah.
It takes a while. For me, it took 2 years to fall in love with this place.
Yeah.
But I was grieving. I was cross-culturally grieving
Yeah.
everything that I left behind, which was my family, the warm weather, everything. It's almost like you're reborn and then you have to learn how to navigate in this new country.
Yeah. For me, it was different coming to Fort Mac because I was living in Calgary before, and all my Canadian trauma were there. So
everything you live there.
So like the immigration process was, I came here and then I got my PR at the same, like was almost at the same time.
Okay.
I put a deadline. My deadline was December 31st, 2023. I got my PR in December 24th, Christmas Eve last year.
2023.
2023. So it was like 1 week before my deadline. I was gonna leave. I said, okay, I can't take it anymore. So
Merry
all my
Christmas.
trauma, yeah, all my trauma was in Calgary. So even though I left my friends there, some of the roots that I did in Canada is in Calgary, but here I felt at home like right away. I didn't feel like the pain of the immigration process, like the heaviness of it.
And let me say, Canadians are lighter than Americans when it comes to immigration. The process are way less hostile. But there is still that pressure of, okay, if I don't have my PR, how I'm going to work? How I'm going to provide?
Yeah, can you imagine if I didn't get it last year, like this year with the process that is going on now?
Yeah, and things change, right? Like
It's
the
changing
world
like
is changing very
by
fast.
the minute.
Yeah.
So
well,
now
I'm glad
it's
you
getting,
got it.
Yeah, now it's getting harder for people who are here. So I said like it was like my moment to get it. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it wasn't that heavy coming to Fort Mac. Of course, the winter is very different. It's heavier here. But last year wasn't. So
Yeah.
like everything was
You got
in the right
full.
place. Yeah. So it was, yeah, these years I feel like this year the winter is gonna be heavier, but I am more prepared now, I think. So
I think we just need to know that no place is perfect ever. The winter's hard, but you get used to, and then the summer comes, and then they have longer, beautiful days
right.
to
Yeah.
make up for it.
Well-
What I was going into, there is no such a thing as a perfect place.
Oh, anyway.
You gotta give something. Gotta give, right? For
Anyway.
me, coming from Rio, I still remember my mom coming to visit, and she saw it was her first international experience. So she saw the bikes on the front lawn, and then she hold my arm. And she's like, "Those bikes, they're not gonna take them? Like, where are the gates?"
Yeah, I know. That's the huge difference.
And then I'm
right?
like, "There are no gates, Mom." And then for the first time, she tapped my back and it's like, "I get it now."
Yeah. Yeah. When you see like, I always wonder like I'm missing home and I'm sad, and I put on the news. I
That
put
makes
on
it
the news
easy.
like when I see this week, like I was feeling very down, I was missing home, I was missing my mom. And then I turn on the news and the cop was throwing somebody from the bridge. And I said, okay, that's why I'm here. Okay, I remember now, like, it's for my kids, it's for our safety. It's like, it's getting crazy out there.
Yeah.
So it's very different. Like, we miss the people, we miss, of course, our culture, right? Our stuff, our parties, everything that we used to do there. But the things that we get here is huge.
Yeah, but it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
It doesn't.
It
It doesn't
isn't.
work for everybody. You really have to come with a mind frame that you need to forget everything that you
Everything that you
forget,
studied.
everything that you studied, all your name tags that you ever had it. You have to have the ability to be humble and come with the mind frame to learn everything again. I did that. I was in my 30s already. Some people come even older. So it gets harder as you age because you have already programmed, okay, like I did all this, right? And here I am starting from scratch. But guess what? You're starting from scratch here is faster if you have that mind frame
Yeah.
than if you decide to start from scratch back home. So, and you're giving the biggest gift that it's your kids never gonna, I joke with Miguel, my son. I say, you're never gonna know where to commute for 2 hours in a packed bus in a 38 Celsius to go to work.
Exactly.
You're never gonna know what is that.
Yeah. You know, yeah.
You're gonna have other struggles, but you're never gonna know what is that. Or be worried about stopping on the red light, or, you know, I shouldn't be shaming my country or talking about that, but I think it's important to know that we don't leave your country because you just want to leave your country. You leave your country because you want a better future. You want to achieve something that's going to benefit your kids, your family, right? So it's a big decision. It's not to be taken lightly, but once you do it and you start to see, okay, I can do this.
And eventually, like, you're in a mission, like you give back.
And you find a place and you give back and you tell your story like I'm doing here on a podcast.
Exactly.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was curious because both children were born here.
Yeah.
How is to get them to learn Portuguese? How is that experience for you?
I had to say that I struggle with that a lot. I was very judged by my lovely Brazilian community, who's gonna probably listen to me. But my husband is not Brazilian. They are going to school here in Canada. So I put them in French school. French is pretty similar to Portuguese.
Oh, yeah, it's very close.
I want them to have the benefit of the language. Of course, I want them to be able to talk with my family in Portuguese. But let's be realistic. They need to have a polished English, not my English that they correct all the time.
All the time.
They need to have a good English, and they're having French, which hopefully in the future going to benefit them tremendously. So, but people have a lot to say about that, and I really don't give a F. I always go with my gut and what I see that's going to benefit them in the long run, you know?
And this was the thing that I learned from the Canadians.
Yeah.
They're unique because we grew up like, we as a Brazilian, we are very judgment people. We judge a lot.
Yeah.
And I learned with Canada that you don't have to explain yourself.
Debbie, even if you do, nobody cares.
Right?
Yes. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Exactly. Like, and then I had to learn that. It was hard to learn that because I don't know, I grew up with many people.
It's hard to get out of the mind frame, but honestly,
when you do that, yeah,
nobody cares.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I see the benefit in my son. We moved a lot when we, even in Calgary, we moved like every year we moved. So when we came to Fort Mac, he made me promise that we wouldn't move until at least he have to move school.
It's hard with friendships.
For example, right? Of course, he's very outgoing, so he makes a lot of friends everywhere, which helps us actually, because when we go rent some place, we always take him. Because his English is better, so he always talking with the landlords, and they always like him. So a lot of our renters rented because of him. So
that's great.
He is our speaker person. But it's hard on them. He asked to do a episode with me because he wants to tell his side of his story.
He have a lot to say.
Yeah, and he was 3 years old and he remembers a lot. He grew up fast because of that. When you came together with your husband, or
he came first.
Oh, okay, you came separately.
I'm just gonna go and check it out, and then he's like, "No, this is it. There is a lot of opportunities here."
How much time separated?
Not even a week.
Oh, so he came in first.
No.
Wasn't a year and a half like me?
No, no, we've been more apart during the cruise life because our contract sometimes until we got hooked on the same idea that okay, we engage and it took a while to have that same contract. So sometimes we'll be apart for 2 months and then reunite and then he finished his contract and I will still be on the boat. It took a while that way, but once we got married and got here and we are for the good, so we're like, no, you go check it out, and I had to trust him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not saying that I wasn't in shock when I got here. I was really in shock, but I'm so beyond grateful for this community. The support that I had here, I never had, even back home. I have people that I barely met offering me work. I remember one of my boss, I'm not going to say the name because everybody knows him in the community. He used to pay me in cash. And he called me in his office like, here, Anna, count it, make sure
everything's there.
Everything is there. And it was pretty much my first good paycheck. And I'm counting. And it's like triple off what I was supposed to have. I don't know if he was testing me. And I started to shake. But he knew I was going home for vacation for the first time after 2 years hustling.
Oh.
And I put a lot of sweat working with him. A lot of hours of work. And no kids at the time. So we could do that. And I said, no, there's way too much money here. And I give the bag back to him. It's like, have a good, safe trip home.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I would never forget that. And when I see newcomers coming just like me and scared and, with a family to support, I try as much as I can to do the same, hold their hands and say, hey, you got this. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy all the time.
You're going to get through it.
But you're going to get through it because I did, you can too. So.
Yeah, I found that, that's amazing. I did some good friends in Calgary. I had a really hard time with my health. For the first time, I had to do chemo, so it was very hard. But I had some friends that went to my house to clean the house because I didn't have anybody to. We don't have the.
Those are the people
family,
that
right?
it's like, well, and this is it. When you're in a place so isolated, you guys, like Fort McMurray is 5 hours away from Edmonton. Like, we're really up north here, okay?
Yeah.
So even the Canadians don't have families living around here.
Exactly.
So you have no other choice but call your friends family, which I do. Like, I would not be here if I didn't have my community, if I didn't have the friends that when I needed the most hold my hand and say, no, we got this.
We got this.
We went through traumatic events together, like the fire in 2016. You weren't here yet.
Oh, the fire, okay.
The fire, that's when you see a community coming together, right? Like, so we went through things that now it seems so long ago, but it's not. And that's where you create that thing that's like, it's home. These people really
like your
do care. Like,
support system, right?
Yeah.
Right there, yeah, that's
so.
where you see it. So you went through it to the fire, to the float.
Yeah, the fire again.
To the fire again. Oh yeah, yeah. I got scared last year, even though like last summer, even though it was like nothing compared, to leave your home, right? We had to evacuate here.
I was on the first fire. I didn't take serious. The rage was like evacuation. And I'm like, nah, let's just pack a couple clothes and have a sleepover uptown in one of my friend's house, which everybody went there. And for me, I will be back home the next day. And from there, we flew to Calgary, actually. But that, I was, with a week in Calgary, I flew to Brazil because we had vacation booked. Divine timing, I guess. But what I want to say is, in a very abundant town, when things, if your work comes to you, you end up accumulating a lot of stuff. And when the fire happened, and now the economy went down a bit, a lot of that stuff, people are not getting as easier as they used to. So, but when you spend a week, 2 weeks, people spend a month away from here. And I had like 5 chains of clothing. And then I came home, I'm like, my home didn't burn. But you think like, how much stuff do you really need?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. We don't need a lot. We don't. We accumulate a lot, right?
We accumulate a lot.
We accumulate. When we have kids, though, like we accumulate
so
even
easy,
more. Like it's
right?
like we don't want to give up some stuff. We are doing that now every season.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I love about Canada. We have the season, so we prepare for the season. That's amazing because it's always in my mind. It changes time. So like we have 4 years in 1 year. So yeah, we are trying to like do the spring cleaning.
So
fall
what I
cleaning
do
and
with my
stuff.
kids, Deborah, I take them to the places that I donate.
Yeah.
So they can see the whole circle. Yes, I'm giving up that teddy bear that was sitting on the floor in my room that I never play, but it's going to a kid, or it's going to...
Yeah, we've been doing that now
Yeah.
since I think, since the pandemic. After the pandemic, we took a lot of stuff that we were using and gave it away. A lot of books, because we read a lot.
Yeah.
My son reads a lot, thank God.
That's
If I
good.
didn't
That's a good
everything
habit.
wrong, he at least is a good reader.
Yeah.
So, so now you're trying to do that, which is hard because we accumulate a lot of stuff. But that's a thing that I learned in Canada, like to have the season and the season change, and you change with the season. Yeah. Which kind of food do you miss? Like that you can't find, because now we
I've
can
been
find a
away
lot.
for a while now. Like
We
before
can
I
find a
came
lot
to
of stuff
Canada.
here now, right?
Eh,
Not here, but in Edmonton.
in Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, but
I wish we had a Latin little store here
store.
somewhere,
We can do
but the
it.
rent is very expensive.
It's very
here.
expensive. I looked into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, if you think like, okay, I could have, like, for me is requeijão. So requeijão it's a kind of cream, like cream cheese, but it's different. It's a Brazilian thing.
Yeah.
That I miss a lot.
But they have it here.
It's not the same.
It's not the
thing.
same. It's a little bit more salty.
It's a little
but-
salty at the end. That's a little bit.
Yeah.
But they do have the puck, right?
Yeah.
It's puck. But for you, it's what? Like, if I could have here.
I miss my mom's seafoods too. And it's so hard with seafood in Alberta. It's not the same. Like East Coasters, they're fine because it's fresh, it's right there. But for us here, it doesn't taste the same. So I'm from Rio. My dad used to take me to the fish market every Sunday and say, I want that fish over there. And then we'll bring it home and we make that beautiful.
Freshness. Oh my God.
Yeah, the freshness, I think. So that's one thing that I miss the most. And the ocean.
Oh, the ocean.
Anything from the ocean.
Yeah, you know, I miss the rain, the real rain. Not that rain that like
that floods everything.
takes that flows everything, but I love rain. I love like to be on the rain. So I miss the like real rain.
Yeah, you're in the mountains, so
Yeah, so I never went outside of Alberta. I never went to BC anywhere.
BC rains a lot.
I always lived in Alberta. So even like with the little travels that we do, we always went from Banff to Canmore. We went to Jasper, but I never went outside. So I think I'm the only Brazilian that never
It
went
will
out.
come. You're just
No,
getting
I'm
settled.
not worried about that.
Yeah.
But I am trying to to know the whole Alberta. And of course, now that we got the PR, that we are more relaxed.
Yeah.
Now we're like planning to do more stuff than we used to. And we were saving. So that's the thing. We are poor in Brazil. We came here poor. So we didn't save money to come in here. So we're not spending money to travel. Yeah. But I know that BC rains, right? Yeah, that's what I want to see. I miss the
BC. When I went there, I went for training. It reminds me a lot of Rio.
Rio?
People are very fit, very healthy, eating good stuff. And it rains.
It rains, yeah.
But it's expensive to live in BC. So.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
But you think, for me, Fort McMurray is more expensive than Calgary. Not for renting, but for food. I think here is more expensive. I think it's because there's less than there, because there's more options.
I think people who come to Fort Mac benefits from, there's not much competition. I heard that from a friend of mine who's a photographer, very talented photographer, and she was in BC. And she's like, and in Vancouver, I'm one more photographer.
Yeah.
Here, I am one of the best. Like, she's top 50 under 50 photographer here in town. So you can really showcase if you have a talent like you do. People really pay attention to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice to know. What else we can talk about? So your kids, both of them study in the French school?
Yeah.
Is a French a Catholic school or just French school?
I was raised Catholic, and I didn't want to, I take my kids to church, but I didn't want to impose religion on them in that matter. And between St. Paul and Ecole de Kingsfield, I got better reviews with Ecole de Kingsfield. So I went to that route, not because I want to put my kids in public school and not Catholic. It wasn't even that. Was the quality of the school at that time. Ecole was better for them.
Yeah, when I came from Calgary, in Calgary, my son used to study the CBS, so it's a public school, no Catholic, no Christian school. And then when I came here, I didn't see any options. Then I saw the French school that's really near the Catholic school. So I put them in the Catholic school. I grew up Catholic. I grew up in an orphanage.
Yeah, you're from Brazil. Of course you grew up Catholic.
No, but I grew up in an orphanage that was run for priests.
Yeah.
So I grew up very Catholic. But when I was 17, I converted to Christian. So then I become Christian, evangelical, I don't know how to say here.
Yeah.
But remain Christian, right? So when I came to Canada, I remained Christian. I'm still Christian, but I am not going to church right now. I didn't find any church here that I find myself going for now. But I didn't impose as well. My husband was worried because, okay, we are not Catholic. What? I said, I grew up Catholic. I'm not a Catholic, so let just them go to school and we figure it out later.
Yeah.
And it's good values you learn too. I don't like some closed-mind values, but I am not that way, so he can always come to me and I will support him on that. And now my daughter is going to the same school. It's a good school, but...
What is the school they go to?
The Father Bowl.
Oh, Father Bowl, yeah. Great school.
Really good school. And they're not that close-minded, I find.
The Catholic schools are not the same.
Yeah, they're not
the Catholic schools from home.
Not from Brazil, right?
Not from Brazil. Yeah. And also we are, thank goodness, in a different era. Yeah. People are getting educated and people are getting more open mind in terms of everything.
It's not even
for me it wasn't even about being Catholic or non-Catholic, was just like I really needed them to be in a great
Very open.
French school, and I didn't want to be like, no, like you gotta go to Catholic. Say who? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. In Calgary, I think there's more that distinction than here.
is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found that more like people say, okay, my daughter is going to the Christian school, and they are more like, I don't know,
Proud of it.
proud
Which
of
is
it.
nothing wrong with it. Like, it's your
But-
communities where you connect. I was really laser focused on the language.
Yeah, I was just if I just wanted them to communicate anyway. Of course, French school. I want to learn French, so. But I wanted them to keep the Portuguese and the English.
Yes,
That's my
because they
main-
come from a beautiful family that both speaks Portuguese.
Yeah,
I struggle speaking Portuguese with my kids
because
when my husband is present because I didn't want to exclude him from the conversation.
yeah,
So it's a different dynamic, and there is no right or wrong, you guys. It's whatever works for your family. And
for us it's getting tougher because my daughter, she was born here. And she's like the whole day in school, so she only speaking English now. She's kind of avoiding she understands it, but she's refusing to say it in Portuguese, which we never had with our son because he came already reading and writing Portuguese 3 years old. But
yeah.
so he remained that because we did a book club. That was a smart thing that I did with him. We did a book club that I read the same book as my mom used to read in Portuguese.
Aw.
So she called and read for him in Portuguese, and I read the same book in English. So I was learning English.
I would not worry too much about it. Like my kids, I never really. They will go home and they pick it up, right?
Yeah.
They talk
Yeah,
with
smart
people.
thing.
But my son the other day, we're driving him to school and Nina, and he put in his Spotify and he was playing bossa nova.
Oh.
I could cry, you guys. Like, it was so caught off guard with
Oh.
that, but that's what we're listening at home. So
That's
if you
good.
keep the culture alive somehow,
Is he very musical?
loves music,
Yeah,
obsessed with music.
there's a YouTube guy that does like musical reviews, and he was talking about bossa nova.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
Nina is the same way. She listens to not Tom Jobim or João Gilberto, but people who sings in bossa nova style. So she plays to me. I'm like, oh, that's bossa nova.
Yeah.
She was listening to a lady called Liana Flores, and it's very bossy, very bossa nova kinda. And I Google her, and she's half British and half Brazilian.
Oh, okay.
So.
But she does like protest music as well. Like she put the
No,
message.
not the message. It's more the romantic,
More the style.
nostalgic side of the
Okay.
bossa nova. Yeah,
Okay.
I like the protesters one though, because my my parents were protesters, so
Yeah.
they are
That's
activists from home. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about? I don't know. Eu vou apagar. Eu tinha uma pergunta e esqueci. Começou a falar em bossa nova, fiquei pensando em outra coisa. Okay, so do you listen anything from Canada? Any music?
I
Or-
love
or
Canada's music. I have to be educated by my husband.
Okay.
But yeah, they have good bands. And
I only know Drake.
Drake.
That's the only Canadian that I
How
don't
about Justin Bieber?
No, no, Justin Bieber.
No, there is
Avril
more
Lavigne.
than Drake and Bieber. We have a lot of talent
Yes, Avril Lavigne.
in
But I don't know
Canada.
anybody. in
Sarah
Canada.
McLachlan.
No.
Yeah. Celine Dion.
Is Celine Dion Canadian?
Yes.
Oh my God.
From Montreal.
I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah.
I need to get educated. I don't know. I don't know many Canadian. I listen to Brazilian music. I don't even listen like Beyonce and Rihanna. Like even American music is not my style. I
Okay.
prefer Brazilian music, samba and hip hop and stuff.
Yes.
But from Brazil, I
Miguel, other day came. My son is really into rap
rap.
music,
Okay.
and he listens. He doesn't listen to Drake. He listens to Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Me too.
Obsessed
But-
with Kendrick and other artists from States. But he found a rapper from home, from São Paulo, which I would not remember the name right now. He's like, Mom, look, they're talking about the social problems, because he likes to study the lyrics.
Yeah.
So he
Tell him to
translated.
listen to MC. He's gonna like him.
Yeah.
He's a good singer.
Yeah.
Health. Okay, so you have the 2 kids in here. Were you scared when you got pregnant? Like, the health system is very different. In Brazil, when we want to go to the doctor, we go directly to the doctor we want. How is it for you here?
I had to find a family doctor. I didn't understand the concept of family doctor, so I had to try to understand that.
Bye, Laura. My daughter.
I had to understand what that means, that we go to see a gynecologist separate. Back home was almost the same. I don't know. It's different. And then I got pregnant, and then in Brazil you have the culture of C-section, right? They push a lot for you to do C-section because in Brazil, people who use private systems, that's where the money making, I guess.
Okay, so we are talking about the health system. So you're saying that was different? Like
It was different. Back home, if you've been in the same town for a long time, you have that doctor like forever, right? Like I was raised in the 80s with homeopathic, because my mom wasn't very much fan of the medical.
Okay, the science.
Yeah, she was more on the natural side of things.
Okay.
So that's my doctor that I have growing up was homeopathic. But then I get here, and then you need to find a family doctor. I'm like, what is the concept of a family doctor? And then I get to learn that, and then I got a Nigerian, very talented doctor, which is my doctor until now. Is my kid's doctor, is my husband's doctor. It is a family doctor. So, but I was amazed when I got pregnant, like the whole care, I guess. Like I never got pregnant in Brazil, and I don't remember, because when I left Brazil, my friends weren't getting pregnant yet, so I don't really record how it was. But I know the trend of the C-section, which I think now it's getting better, it's changing. But if you can afford, hey, why not, do a C-section and book and get done with it. And so when I said to my family back home that I was having my kids in a natural way, and they again judged. And like, why you don't have a C-section? Get over with and blah blah blah. You a C-section baby? I'm like, yeah, I'm a C-section baby because my mom had heart problems, so she had no much choice, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong, but I'm very busy. I'm very I want to keep going with life. I could not. My personality doesn't allow me to have a C-section. Let's put it that way. But I was amazed by, first of all, the hospitals here
The
doesn't smell
structure,
like
right? The structure
ether.
of the house, yeah.
They look like hotel.
Yeah.
The nurses, we have a friend who saw my daughter before I did, which is her godmother, Raissa. She's a nurse, and they treat us like queens, honestly. I didn't want to leave and go home. I'm like, can I stay just 2 more days, 3 more days? But the moment they see you're good to go, you go home. Like, there's no fooling around. They do things different. I think Brazilians, they search more for things. They are more in tune. Here, if you don't push, depending on the doctor, it's all good, you're good, it's all good. Let's go next.
Advil, go home.
And then you go home and like, okay, let me book appointment and let's see this in a more deeper lens, right? So it's different, but we also have to keep in mind Canada is a very new country compared with Brazil.
Yeah.
So it benefits, but also have the side that like, okay, they don't have track of things like we do. Like
Yeah.
the baggage is different. It's lighter, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. So
And there's a difference too. There's a culture. I think in Brazil, there's a culture that if you're a doctor, like we're very proud to be a doctor. Everybody wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, or stuff. Here, they don't think too much about. I found that the Canadians, they know that if they can run a business, they're gonna live well. So they don't need to be a doctor to live well. In Brazil, we have that because to be a doctor
it's the tradition side. Again, it comes with being an older country.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they don't have the doctors and the lawyers here and that they not have that pride. They do have that pride, but it's not as strong, I guess, as Brazil. When I was going,
I'm just not saying about the pride side of it. I'm saying the money.
the money.
The money side of it, because in Brazil, you know, if you're a doctor,
Because
you're
I
gonna
think
be
Brazil, most
health-
of the people who can go to a doctor school to begin with is because your
Exactly.
father probably is
you
already
start,
a doctor.
yeah, it started from the bottom of it,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
It's
I
different.
think
A lot
there's
of our
more
doctors here, they
there.
come from overseas.
Yeah,
Rare Canadian doctors. They do have
Exactly.
Canadian doctors, but
Yeah.
majority comes from different countries. So
different countries, yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's why, because we have more doctors in Brazil, I think. And he does less doctors, so it's very hard to find like that.
And the health system here is a little bit weaker, if I can say. Like you get what, like there is no Unimed. You're not gonna pay a fortune.
Yeah, you won't pay
You know,
something,
it's public.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you pay your taxes and yeah, you get the health, but that doesn't mean that it's like 5-star health. Depending on where you get medicated or you get your consultation or who is your doctor, depends on a lot of factors, right? So
By the structure, yeah. When I
The
got my
structure.
daughter, oh my God, I felt I was in a hotel as well.
yeah.
And I saw like they got they had like a doctor that saw that my daughter has a tongue, so
They clip the tongue.
they clipped
yeah.
the tongue, so it was very fast on that those stuff, which was different in Brazil. But in Brazil, I think we have more warmer doctors. I mean, it's the culture as well.
Yeah.
So he is very straightforward.
Yeah.
We got luck. We got great doctors when I got my daughter. We got great doctors, but it's very different than Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. You won't feel that because you didn't you didn't have kids there, but the structure is very so much better here. But the doctors, they're warmer there, and because we know the doctors for a long time, right? They are kind of part of the family. Like we say that my doctor
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's different. But I find like because I had some health issues here, I experienced the health system is not that good. Like that's the only thing that I think Brazil has better figured out, because in Brazil, when we have something that is rare, we discover right away. We like the diagnosis is very fast. Here it took a long time to yeah. So I think that's the only thing that would like change. If you can get the structure in the Brazilian,
Yeah, if you can mix,
If you
combine
mix,
them.
yeah. but we can have everything everywhere, right?
Oh.
But it's very different. And how about what do you think about go to a family doctor, so talk to him about specialists that you want to see,
Mm-hmm.
and challenge the doctor, because you need to challenge the doctor to see the specialist. And in Brazil, we go direct to the
To
specialist.
the specialist, yeah, it's
How do you
different.
think about it? It's like,
It's one more step, right? So it can be frustrating. But in Canada, the reality now, they are, depending on where you are in Canada, they're so short in doctors, they're so short in family doctors. People, sometimes they don't have family doctors, so they are overloading their emergency centers, right? To use the system, because they cannot they cannot have access to family doctors. So that's a little bit of a worry.
yeah.
But
I found that too. Like,
yeah,
sometimes you stay like 10 hours waiting to see
Yeah.
the doctor, and then you spend 5 minutes
yeah,
in the office and you go home with
Yeah.
Advil, right? That's why I always go to the walking clinic,
yeah.
because the hospital.
Do you have good experience with the walking clinic?
I do. I
Mhm.
do. I got luck, I think.
Mhm.
Because I know like where some of the good doctors are here.
Yeah.
Because we live in a small town, right? So
Yeah.
it's very fast to find where to go, and if you know the right time to go to,
Mhm.
that's good too.
That's true.
So yeah, I got luck, I think. Yeah. In Calgary, I did have like a Nigerian doctor
Mhm.
that I could call. He knew my situation, so
Yeah.
every time that I had like some fever or some stuff, I didn't want to go to the hospital. So I went to his clinic, and he would like
That's nice.
get me there. Yeah, that was.
That's
a good-
another thing that
a
is
good
different. Not
connection,
every
yeah.
doctor here you can call. Back home, you have the doctor on your
Yeah.
phone.
I think because that was my mother-in-law. I think because my mother-in-law is darker skinned than me. I think she reminded him about his mom.
Aw.
They got into a conversation when I went to with her, and then I think he felt like home with us.
Mhm.
So I think we got lucky that way.
So Alberta have a lot of Nigerians, you guys,
Yeah.
and a lot of people from Lebanon. And the moment you say you're Brazilian, they really, they embrace you.
Yeah,
So
they do.
it's just a big family. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the culture is similar too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they feel like. So I got luck that way too.
That's good.
Yeah. Now I have a word here that is called the gratitude word that I'm using all the episodes. What is something that you are grateful about coming?
One
to Canada?
thing?
Yeah.
Just one?
Some things. You can be
Um,
grateful for everything, but
I think I'm grateful for the community. It's not the place, it's the people.
the people.
Again, Fort McMurray, they have beautiful trails. We have beautiful Aurora Borealis.
Oh,
But the people make this place special.
yeah.
The people make this place, to a gypsy like me that been all over, having a hard time to call place home, to call this place home. I've been here for now almost 20 years. And it's definitely the people that I'm most grateful for. I think if I didn't have the chance to meet the people that I crossed paths with in the past, when I got here especially, it's hard to make it if you don't have that support system.
Yeah.
Because your family is not here. Your friends from home that know you since childhood, they're not here. So you're really starting from scratch. And if people are welcoming and they believe in you and they give you chances to succeed, then you can make it. Then it's fine, you know. And that's why on my work now, every time I was telling Deborah, every time I see someone that reminds me of me 20 years ago almost, like they are scared. They miss home, they miss family, they miss their friends, they miss what is known. And they just got into the unknown, but the unknown have so many promises, right?
Yeah.
I try to hold their hand and say, hey, we're here together, and we're gonna get through this, and it's all good. You're gonna flip that page, you're gonna turn that corner, and you're gonna succeed. And when you hear that from another immigrant that made it, then you're like, okay, if she make it, I can try to make it too.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for the community and the people.
I'm grateful for the community too, Fort McMurray, Alberta in general. And I'm grateful for you that came
Yes.
into my podcast.
Yes. Finally, we made it happen.
Yeah, finally. I'm grateful for the audience. If you are liking the podcast, write down what you're grateful for. And if it's your community, if it's your family, anything, write down in the comments.
And subscribe to her channel.
Yes.
She's an amazing storyteller. She has a lot to say to you, and you're going to miss it if you don't. So subscribe to her channel.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode of Alberta Pod. See you. Bye-bye.